What's up guys, gonna be doing a quick intro today, but what we're gonna be doing is a Bloxtale 2, the Battle. So first up we have the Bloxtale noob. This is the first character in the game. And at first I was tempted to put it inside this kind of range, since why would it actually be honestly that good? But if we take a look at this footage, you can actually really see here that, like, if I were to use like the Bloxtale blaster on the little test dummy I have, it's not even, is it even functioning right now? That's a bit annoying. Double? Triple? Interesting. It's a bit interesting. Yeah, so we can clearly see here the Bloxtale blaster is not even functioning, which is not a good look on the creator of this game. I'm not the creator, don't worry. This is I'm just a dev, but like, bit odd there. Die! Yeah! 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 So yeah, that means I would probably put Bloxtale, since by the way the sword attacks do about like not really even that much damage, just like 5 and 10 per. So it's not the blaster is usually like 1 per sec, so I would put it at but at the same time it's just pretty bad. It's not really bad, but it's pretty bad is what I'm saying, since it's just it it just makes sense to put it here in my opinion. So yeah, that's where that's gonna go. Alright, next up we have Bloxtale, which is a character which is literally just Bloxtale, except stronger and has a cooler attack. So yeah, let's look at that footage real quick. So you can see here, this is Bloxtale. He's pretty cool in looks, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for efficiency. So we got the Bloxtale blaster, which actually does function, and it does decent damage, as you can see, around like 1 to, yeah, per tick. So that's how good that one would be. I mean, the triple throw. Kind of hard to actually land, I'll say that. Jeez! Okay. And then you got like these three. And that. So yeah, overall, a decent result as well. Okay, so the attacks weren't that bad, so I think I want to put it in this range and not this range, since it was good enough to be justified as one of these, and maybe even this one, since the sword attack was so good and the special attack had a lot of potential in it. But I think I'm gonna put it here actually. Just keep it short and simple. Maybe here. Yeah, I'll put it in the ad section. Alright, so next up we got the weak dust noob, which is I'm sure it's gonna be a really good range. But we gotta look at the footage first, you get the deal. So next up we have Dust Noob, and I'm just gonna get straight to the point. The Dust Log Triple Blaster does how much? How much did it do? Since I'm not exactly quite sure myself, that didn't, yeah, like 1 shot. So it does like it's like 13, I think maybe 4 per tick as an estimation, since that's what that was. Next up we have Sword Rise, which should, yeah, just a rising sword. Probably doesn't even do that much damage, to be honest. We have the Tons of Sword Throw, which is just a bunch of swords actually, a lot of them. Can I aim it more down? I can. That's interesting. And the sword, which just does 35 damage. Dust Block Blaster, which probably just does decent damage, maybe. And yeah, that Tons of Dust Noob. So yeah, from that, I think I can conclude that it's probably in the kinda good and section. I still don't think it's good for some. It might be kinda good, but a kinda good. And honestly, the only reason is just it does mid-tier damage. Alright, next up is Swap Blocks. You know the deal, let's get to the footage. Alright, next up we have, freaking Swap Blocks, which is an interesting one. It's just the guest. He has a Hecking Bomb, which, does questionable damage, aka basically instantly kills anything in its path, probably doing over like 1,000 damage since that character has over 1,000 HP. Next up we have the sword throw, which is literally just a sword throw that I can't hit ever since I suck at the game. Yep, I just can't get to hits. But we have the classic sword, which does 70 damage for one hit, which is kind of insane. Melee in this game is pretty OP. The triple blaster. This just does probably a lot of damage. Yeah, I know how much damage that did, but it did damage. We have the hyper laser, which actually doesn't do 50 damage, but it does probably consistent damage, I'd say, yeah. Block swap. Blaster, yep, it kills. At this point, the blaster's good enough to kill someone that only has 100 HP, which is fair enough game. And that's it for block swap. So yeah, looking over that footage, I'd say he's a really good character since his melee is good, so I would actually put him in the good category. For a low cost of souls, I really do think he's really good for his melee and also his basic attacks. So yeah, I think we'd put him in the good category. Alright, next up we have outer blocks, which is, well, you know the deal, let's just get to the footage. It's the space character. Alright, next up we got outer blocks, so we're gonna do orange space blaster, which you're supposed to move in, but when you're standing still it does serious damage. Yeah, okay. And then we have the blue space blaster, which is just the opposite. You have to stand still to not take damage. But he moved a slight bit and just died, which is unfortunate. And then we got the star throw. No, wait for his fourth. And then we got the star throw. Doesn't seem to do that much damage. I don't even know if it hit though. Starfall. 440, damn. Starfall. Be great if it could hit. There we go. 550, jeez! We have Space Blaster. Weaker, yeah, that's what I would assume. And then also this character has an attribute of jumping pretty high, and that's outer blocks. And overall for outer noob, I actually want to give it like the kinda good range, since sure it has the high mobility, which is really useful, but at the same time its attacks are kind of hard to hit when they actually do damage. And to hit the other blasters, it has to be a specific thing, so you can just look at the light and determine how you want to act on the attack. So I think it's going to go in the kind of good range. And the final one for this part is called King Blocks. The reason why we're doing this in two parts is because it's going to go over 10 minutes, and over 10 minutes makes my editing place have a seizure. So yeah, here's the footage. So yeah, this is the King Blocks character, which is, in my personal opinion, one of the best starter, or kind of starter characters, maybe in the halfway point. With the King Blaster, which does, I think, 6 damage per tick, which is pretty good for a starter character, I'd say. And then we have the Asteroid Drop, which is going to be kind of hard to hit. The last one does like 600 damage, by the way, I'm sure. It does a lot of damage there. Then we have the Orange Blaster, which is, yeah, that's, oh my god. That's a lot of damage. See, that character has 1000 HP. Take that into consideration. And then we have the Trident, which does 350 damage per hit, which for a starter character is insane. So yeah. And then we have the Spinner Blaster, which does 20 damage, probably a 5 per spin. That's what I believe. And then we have the Blue Blaster, which, gee, those blasters are really, really good. And yeah, it's probably the same as Orange and stuff. And yeah, that is it for this character. But in general, the mobility is pretty thick. You can spam most of the attacks. Well, not really spam them, but use them consistently, which is why I like it so much. And with that information, I think I'm gonna put it in not the so good thing, but the good tier list section, because so good, no, that's false, but it is good since it does a lot of damage, has decent mobility, although an outer could totally catch up to it, so I'll put it at the good section. It's not so good, and plus this is only part 1, of course there's probably going to be so good things in part 2, so we're getting to the actually a lot better characters.